Yo, Counter Attack podcast for myself, Daps. Guys, keep liking, subscribing, sharing, all of that good stuff. Um, yes, guys, I'm back again with another video, another pod. Quickly wrapping up what's been going on. You know, in the days where I've not been recording. By the way, massive podcast coming up for you guys in the week after next. Massive podcast. So anyway, those of you who have watched me long enough know I always get the good players on. Those who you've just joined me, you'll see that, well, you won't know unless you've seen it somewhere randomly before. But, you know, guys, 2025 has started well. So got another massive one coming up in 10 days, maybe 2 weeks. But we'll see. Anyway, what's been happening in the time since I've been away? Liverpool knocked out of the FA Cup. Poor. I don't care if they use a weakened team. It's poor. And I'm surprised not much got made out of it, to be honest. But it is what it is. That's old news now. City progress. Real Madrid, Man City. That was a good game. Very, very good game. And what I do want to say about that is, earlier in the season, I said that Mbappe would need to, you know, he hadn't been playing well. And I was saying that even though he is a superstar player, he still needed time to settle in. And it's looking like Mbappe is starting to well, not starting to, he's found his feet and he's contributing. So I am really, really happy about that. It just goes to show that the talk that people were doing with Mbappe, like, come on, it's just too easy to just write people off. And I'm not saying he's going to go on and become this great player for Madrid, but, you know, it's okay if a player's not performing, but you still have to give them that grace rather than just say they're finished. We know that is one of my pet peeves, when people just see someone that's off form and they just totally write them off. Like, Mbappe is showing that you can be off form. You can, no matter how much you were bought for, you can still be a normal player who needs time to settle in. And I'm just glad that he's, you know, settling in now. And, you know, we need, in this era of football, we need the stars to actually perform like stars and be at the level where, you know, you actually look to them and make those memorable Champions League nights, make those memorable moments in tournaments. And I'm not saying it was a memorable moment from him, but it was him contributing, you know, in a big game in the Champions League. And Jude, man, listen, Jude can do no wrong in my eyes. We know this. We know that when it comes to Jude, I'm a bit biased. But I'm just glad, again, that Jude Bellingham is actually, you know, people are slowly changing the narrative. Because like I said, when it comes to Jude Bellingham, you can tell me he's done this wrong, he's done that wrong, he's done that, and I'll be like, he's still that guy. I'm just a fan of Jude Bellingham. And again, I think because he is that player that, you know, was bought for 100 million at such an age, I think we automatically just think he's going to be this finished product. But he is only, 19, 20? However, no, not 19, like 2021. However old he is still a player that is developing his game. And I've said time and time again that at that age, you can't ask for players to be the finished product. You can't. I saw something yesterday with Dembele scoring 18 goals in his last 11 games or something like that. And, you know, he's 27 and now players are peaking again. And I've never come away from that. When you look at players over whatever period, they always peak later on because you still need to develop your game. No player, unless you're an absolute wonder kid, bursts on the scene and, well, some players peak early and then they just get rubbed out. But more time, I would say 90 to 95% of players peak later on in their career. You cannot ask players to just be the best version of themselves at 21, 22, 19 years old. It doesn't work like that. So when you see players like Jude Bellingham, you have to give them the grace to actually develop their game and not just say, oh, they're rubbish. Because now, whether you like it or not, that's another clutch moment he's come up with. Yes, it was a tap-in, but for you to always be in the position to get those tap-ins all the time, it's not a fluke. It's not a mistake. Like, your game is designed for you to always show up in those moments and always be present in those moments. In a game, I wonder how many times he makes that run into the box. He probably makes that run 20, 30 times a game. And that one time it comes off, it might be a tapping, but he's been doing that all game. Even against Man City, especially in that second half, I felt like he grew into that game and became more and more of a presence. And you don't just walk around aimlessly in a Real Madrid like winning team. It just doesn't happen. So when people put dirt on Bellingham's name, I'm like, he's playing for Real Madrid, the biggest club in the world. And at times he's carried them on his back, whether you want to accept it or not. But yet you got Edwin over here with Garnacho as his avatar saying Bellingham's rubbish. I don't know. I it's just not me. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, and Man City, man, I can't see them going to. Well, you never know, but I can't see them going to Bernabeu and getting a result there, man. I think there's big problems there. Problems like Ederson. For the last couple of years, Ederson's been that way. When people were saying Ederson's the best keeper in the league, and I was just like, no, Alisson. Like, I've never ever had Ederson there because the fundamentals of keeping is keeping the ball at the back of the net. He was never really tested because City kept the ball all the time. When we think of Ederson, we think of him for his distribution. We don't think of him for his goalkeeping. So for me, what we're seeing now that his distribution is looking a bit off, all of a sudden everything else just has come to light. But for me, this has just been Ederson, apart from the distribution, of course. This has just been Ederson. He's never really had to make many saves. He's never really, been up against it all the time. So now that, City are conceding more chances and, he's having to do more of the goalkeeping side of things, we're seeing a different Ederson. And I'm not surprised by it. That's only one of the small issues, well, major issues at Man City. Man City just look like, as well, you can get to that 65th, 70th minute and you visibly see that they tire. And if you can stay in the game, if you can be in the game, be winning the game or whatever, and you get to that point in the game, you can, especially in the midfield area, just overrun them and you can get the better of them. Whereas that wasn't a thing with City before. City were relentless and they had relentless control of the game for 90 minutes, 95 minutes. Whereas now, 60, 70 minutes, they're just a bit off it. And they don't have the players or the characters needed to carry them through, physically anyway. And so that's going to be a really, really good game on the way back at the Bernabeu, second leg. Right, Liverpool-Everton today. Listen, I tell you what, I really enjoyed that match. It was a real throwback match. And yes, you can support, rival teams and whatever. But as a neutral, I watched that game, even though I wanted Liverpool to lose, or at least drop points. I watched that game and I really, really enjoyed it. It was a good throwback of a proper derby match. You got tackles flying in, you got chances, you got goals, you got the crowd getting on the players. You got referees making horrible mistakes and whatnot. But it was just such a good finish. I mean, it was a good finish of the game. It was just such a good game, honestly, man. Like, Liverpool do this thing where you can just be on top of them for so long, and if you don't put them away, they're going to make you pay, because they've got players all over the pitch that just need one chance and it's a goal. Because when Salah got his goal today, Salah had been outside of his goal. Well, he got the assist as well, to be fair, but outside of those two moments, Salah didn't do anything in the game. But in those moments, he popped up, boom. McAllister popped up with a header. And when Salah got his goal, it was at a time when Everton were on top. Everton had started that second half well, and Liverpool weren't on the ropes, but they were playing Everton's game. Do you get what I'm saying? And I think as well, in terms of Michael Oliver, people saying he had a bad game. I don't know where this thing came from that Michael Oliver is the best referee in the league. Like, where did that actually come from? because it's just a given that he's the best. But who decided he was the best? When did it become the general consensus? Because when I look at him refereeing, I think he's one of the better, not even better referees. He's one of the more comfortable referees at that level. But if you look at his performances in those big games, it's always about him when it comes to Michael Oliver. And you can't have a referee where time and time again it becomes about him. Do you get what I'm saying? This ain't about him having a thing against Arsenal, him having a thing against Liverpool. It's not even about that. I think in a game like that, you need a referee that's going to come in and have control of the game. And both teams said he lost control of the game. And you could see he lost control of the game. There were fouls that should have been given that weren't given. He's dishing out yellow cards for things that shouldn't have been yellow cards. You know, he's missing things that Idris Gana Gate should have been off. He should have got a second yellow. But it's just, I don't know when it became general knowledge that he was one of the best. And I don't think he is. And even what happened after the game, you know, I loved all of that. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes you just need that. Like, you don't want people to go over the top and people to get hurt and everything, but you need that fire. Do you get what I'm saying? I remember when Conte and Tuchel, when they shook their hands at... Oh, sorry. But yeah, no, you need that in the game. You need that fire, like, with derby matches. Like, you don't want people to get hurt. You don't want people to go over the top, but you need to have... It's the old school football. Do you know what I mean? The old school football mentality of just, come on, let's go, and, you know, it's a rivalry. So let's show it's a rivalry. Like when Tuchel and Conte went to go shake each other's hand after the game that time, and no one wanted to let go, and it becomes a little bit of a thing. And hey, listen, I love all that. I love all that. Also, Konate's one, it wasn't a foul. I can see why it might have been given as a foul, but to be honest, 9 times out of 10, it's given. 9 times out of 10? 7 times out of 10, I think it's given as a foul. But in that moment, I think Konate felt the... how can I put this? All right. The reason why I'm a bit disappointed with Konate is because even though I believe it was a foul, Konate should have been less occupied. Konate should have been... Sorry. Konate should have just dealt with it, basically. He was worried more about buying the foul than just dealing with whatever he needed to deal with. And he gave the referee an option to bail out and make that decision. Whereas if you just go, deal with it, forget about trying to buy a free kick and whatever, deal with it. That doesn't happen. And then Tarkowski's, that finish, thanks. See ya. Proper finish. At that time of the game, just lashed it. Nothing cute, no finesse, just straight bang. And it was a proper finish. And I'm here for it. Absolute limbs, scenes going into the crowd. Yeah. Like, it was a very, very good match, man. And I really did enjoy it, man. What else is on? Havertz. Listen, Arsenal are now without a striker. Some might say we were without a striker already, even when the players were available, but now they're actually without a striker. And as my boy Lloyd Dots would say, it is gross negligence. Because how at this level, when there's things to fight for, and you actually got a team that could actually fight for things, can you be left without a striker? Even when you know you need a striker, even when you got those bodies there, you knew you needed a striker. And now Havertz is out, torn hamstrings, them things don't happen easily. I read that Havertz has got the most minutes of any of the Arsenal players. He's got the most minutes. No, not the most minutes. He's run the most. Run the most. Overused. You don't rotate your squad enough. Cool. So, So now for Arsenal to be left without a striker, it's not like it's happened in January. We can quickly dip in. Nah, this is it to the end of the season. And Liverpool dropped points today. I know they're still favourites, but you know you've got a little window to maybe do something. You've got Champions League, but you're also doing it with no striker. Saka is also out. like what is really going on. You have to look at the decisions of Arteta, of the board, whoever it is, and just say it's not good enough at the end of the day. Because this is another season where we're gonna hope, we're gonna watch the match, we're gonna support because that's what we do as fans. We support the team and we hope for the best. But really and truly, we know the season's done because even with a striker, it was hard anyway. But instead of doing what you can to just get these deals over the line, even if it means you get someone short term and maybe pay over the odds short term, or send one of the loans back and get someone else, like do something. But now we've got no striker, and ultimately our season is finished. Our season is finished. So yeah, I'm not happy about that at all. Rest up Havertz, but it's another season where it's finished for Arsenal. One where it doesn't have to be finished. It didn't have to be this way, but that's the team that we support. One thing I did want to talk about before I went. Jared is it Branthwaite? Branthwaite? I don't know how to pronounce his name. I like him. I like him a lot. Every time I see him play, I think this is a strong centre back, good in the air, good passing. He's got a bit about him. He's aggressive with his defending. I feel like I'm repeating myself because I've said all of this about him before. But anyway, that was a while ago where I said all this. But he's a defender, like I said, he can header. He's got a bit of pace about him. He's aggressive. He's got tech. Like he's a really, really good defender. But it leads me to think, yeah, could he go on and play for a top team in terms of like a top 4 team? Or is he good at that level? I personally think that he could play for a top team, but the style would have to suit him. And I feel like as well, playing with James Tarkowski for too long will hinder him because he's becoming more and more like Tarkowski. And Tarkowski's a solid Premier League defender. But I don't want him to just become that. Because Tarkowski, at the same time, he's a bit wayward at times. Do you get what I'm saying? But I think he's a really, really good defender, man. And I remember United were linked with him. But yeah, what do you guys think? Do you think he could go on to become a real good top, defender for a top club? Or do you think he'll always be at just a really, really good Premier League defender like Tarkowski, like Jagielka was? Do you get what I'm saying? Like the Conor Codys, ones who are steady, they're always ever present in the league, but stay at that kind of level. But yeah, let me know what you think. So remember, look out for that interview in 2 weeks. Oh, such a big one. I'm going to announce it properly in about a week. No, I'm not going to. I never announce it. I just drop it. So yeah, just be on the lookout for it. And streams are coming back next week. If there's anyone watching this that can help with overlays, that can help me with like clips, because obviously I need someone to do my clips now for social media, my overlays for my stream, because I don't want to stream with just simple, just plain background. I want to stream with all the overlays and everything. So anyone that can help me with that, get at me in my DMs on Instagram, not Twitter. I can't really check my Twitter ones. But yeah, just get at me and then yeah, we'll chop it up. I'm out. Peace.